Good afternoon, Southern California. I'm John Baldwin with John Hart Real Estate, and today is August 1st, 2022. It just seems like this summer is flying by. So, have an interesting article for us today from CNBC.com. This goes into the category of like, yes, I'm touching on inventory, interest rates, and a couple things like that, but it's a lot of the way that stories are framed, the fact that they use good data, but the way they hang the stories on the data points, I think is interesting because again, I've said it many times in the past. They do the clickbaity sort of like the sky is falling, Chicken Little type. They want to scare you to click the article, but then in the article, a lot of the data points aren't nearly as scary, or they'll say something like, hey, look at this, this is scary. But then the follow up point is, well, it's not that bad. Here's what the real data is. And so I want to get into this because I think it's important because the way the legacy media, the big media companies frame things, they cheerlead it on the way up and then they cheerlead it on the way down. But they don't understand what's going on. So they think that anytime there's a market shift that it means, okay, we're going up, now we're going down. I'm like, no, we were going up at 20% a year, 19% a year. Now we're going to return to a normal 3 to 7% appreciation. And they don't know how to frame that. So they frame that as panic, as like, oh my God, the sky is falling, is what I call Chicken Little. They need something to hang the data points on, and then they put a narrative that just doesn't reflect the data that they're putting in the article. So let's jump to the article real quick, and I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about. So here we are, CNBC.com from today. Home prices cooled at a record pace in June, according to housing data firm. But the way they say this, and look at this key point here, home price gains are cooling fast as demand wanes and supply builds. The annual rate of appreciation fell 2 percentage points from 19.3 to 17.3. So they're still saying it's going up, just not as fast as it was in the past. Price gains are still otherwise strong because of an imbalance between supply and demand. The housing market had a severe shortage for years, or has had a severe shortage for years. Yes, this is what I've been talking about, but there's some good data in here, and I want to get a little lower in this. So let me see if I can find it again. Slow down across, a bunch of different markets all across the country, different markets. They talked about Seattle for some reason, but what we're looking at, San Jose has fallen, but I believe these are asking prices, not sale prices, and this is where they get a little deceptive. Yes, listing prices are down. People aren't asking as much because they know that buyers can't just throw money at a property as easily as they could when interest rates were in the 2.5 to 3.5 range. With rates in the 4 or above 4, almost 5% range right now, the cost of throwing 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 on top of the asking price is more. So people are a little more careful with how they're bidding on property, because when the interest rate was 2.5%, you didn't really mind throwing an extra 10, 20, 30,000 at something because the cost to your pocketbook every month was not that bad. So that's just something to consider here. All right, yeah, so here's that part about Seattle, San Diego, and Denver. Yeah. The cooling in prices coincided with a sharp jump in supply of homes. Wow, who could have thunk it? But here is the thing. Inventory is still, however, 54% lower than 2017 to 2019. And in 2017 to 2019, we were complaining about inventory then. We want more stuff to sell. We need more options for our buyers. But again, they're trying to say, oh my God, the market is cooling. But then they're saying inventories are still 54% lower than they were pre-COVID. So this is just something we need to pay attention to and make sure we know what the details are, because they're trying to get you to click on the article. I clicked on the article. I wanted to read it. I wanted to know what they were talking about. So, yeah. Price drops will not affect the average homeowner as much as they did during the Great Recession. Of course, because over the last decade, everybody who's been buying real estate has had money, credit, income. They were properly vetted by the mortgage companies to make sure they would pay the mortgage companies back. So we have a very different ball game right now than we did in 2007. We don't have a, recession being led by housing like we did in 2007. We have a recession that is basically COVID related, supply chain related, and the government printing money. It's not housing. Housing is not unhealthy right now in the same way that it was in 2007, where you had all these toxic mortgages, subprime, all that garbage mortgage that, we don't have any of that right now. And homeowners have so much equity right now. God forbid if a bunch of them needed to put it on the market and sell, they would not be doing short sales. They would be selling their houses and walking away in the black with cash in their pocket. So we're in a very different ballgame than we were in 2007. Despite that, the strong demand in the market recently could present a problem for some. About 10% of mortgage properties were purchased in the last year, so price drops could cause some borrowers to edge much lower in their equity positions. Yes, if the market turned, but we're looking at 3 to 7% appreciation. We're not looking like we're going to go off a cliff like we did in 2007. None of the data is pointing to that. We still have only 3 months of supply. So until we get over 6 months of supply, I don't foresee any downward pressure on prices, maybe downward pressure on asking prices for agents or sellers who reach too high based on the data. But we've got all the comps we need right now to get good deals put together. We have plenty of comps, and a return to normal appreciations in that 3 to 7% range is a good thing for everybody. So we're not looking at 20% a year, which is unsustainable. So again, this is good news, but they're hanging a lot of negative language around what is actually positive news about the market. Yes, appreciation fell from 19.3% to 17.3%. Oh no, we're only appreciating at 17.3%. I mean, come on. We are just, the media is just trying to make it difficult because they need clicks. So they're just trying to drive traffic, but they're making it difficult for you to get good data. That's why you need to listen to me, listen to my broker, and get good data from a realtor who's in the market and understanding what's going on. I used to. Last year, I was just telling a client of mine, I was bumping into 35 offers on property last year. Right now, I may be bumping into 0 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. I'm not bumping into 10, 20, 30, 40. It's just not happening right now because your pool of buyers is smaller when interest rates go up. I've talked about this before. Interest rates go up, prices go up, volume goes down, but it doesn't indicate that values are going to go down. Values going down is a different equation than just total volume. So, this is just stuff to be aware of. We got a lot of good data, a lot of houses coming online, a lot of good inventory coming online for the end of the summer, beginning of the fall. It's going to be a great time to get in because interest rates dipped again this week. So the Fed raised rates last week, but interest rates had already factored in that 0.75 increase that the Fed did. And so when there was positive economic news, they were able to have rates come down a little bit. I saw rates in the mid fours today, mid to upper fours today. So give me a call, 213-973-3777, and